We're live, baby. Let's go. All right. What's up, team? If you guys are in the building, let me know that you're here. What's good? Drop something in the chat real quick. We'll get started in just a second. Let's go. All right, people are filtering in. What's good? What's good if you guys are from LinkedIn, YouTube? Let me know where you're coming in from. Give me your location. All right, just getting set up on my end here. All right, crew. We'll jump in. If people are late, they're late. If you miss it, you miss it. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Hope you guys are crushing today. If you guys are here, you're here to talk about lead magnets and how to get more calls specifically from your lead magnet. So if that's what you're here for, welcome. If you don't know what you're watching, well, that's what you guys are in for today. If you guys don't know me, I'm Josh Johnston. I run a consulting firm called Hydra. We help agencies scale. Essentially, we do that through lead gen, through sales, operations, finance, financial modeling. So if you guys are wondering, Josh, why are you technically qualified on talking about this? Well, we've grown multiple multi-seven-figure companies, consultancy, agency, sold the agency back in 2020. And now we just teach agencies how to do exactly what we did with our agency. So excited to jam with you guys today on how to get more calls from your lead magnets. I'm gonna do a little share screen. Got a little presentation for you guys today. And if you stay around till the end, I will share the link to this presentation in the chat. Okay. All right. So how to get more calls from your lead magnets. If you guys have been developing lead magnets over the past, quarter, past 90 days, whatever it is. But if you have lead magnets that you're pushing out on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on social media in general, chances are you're getting a lot of interaction. And we've seen these types of lead magnets before. And for us to understand how to first kind of make these lead magnets get traction, we got to understand the intent versus the non-intent conversations that we're going to have inside of the DM. So for me, it's one of my biggest pet peeves, like when people are making these incredible resources, these trainings, checklists, white papers, whatever your lead magnet specifically is, and they're not getting booked calls from it. It's a big pet peeve of mine. I want you guys to get more booked calls from this, but you got to take the conversations into the DM. So what I want to cover first is understanding intent versus non-intent type psychology. Okay. And with this, I learned this from Cole Gordon. This is not something that I just like created out of my own bag of tricks here. This is something that I pulled from Cole Gordon. If you guys don't know who Cole Gordon is, incredible sales trainer, but taught me a lot specifically on understanding intent for versus non-intent. So intent simply means this occurs when a lead actively express interest or seeks more information about your offer, essentially signaling that they want to learn more about that specific offer. So if you guys are running a lead gen agency, if you're in D2C e-com, if you guys are running a web dev, local, SEO type company, whatever it is, what type of service-based business, like they are specifically coming to you for that thing, right? So if you guys are building websites, your web dev agency, well, they're coming to you specifically for a new website, right? That's what we call an intent-based message. Okay. Now, if they're sending you non-intent based, well, this is probably because you're posting some sort of lead magnet. You do like a 2-step post on LinkedIn or on Twitter, and it says, hey, comment X, Y, and Z, and I'll send you 1, 2, and 3. So this refers to when a lead engages, but without genuine interest of your specific offer. They just want like primarily seeking that free resource, that free training, and that giveaway. Okay. So understand the difference between those two, right? The intent is reaching out to you guys directly for your offer. Non-intent refers to, hey, they just want the free thing. They want the freebie, the giveaway, the lead magnet that you created to get that interaction. If that makes sense, drop a little 1 in the chat for me. Okay. Now, non-intent scripts. Non-intent scripts. Okay. The exact script we use that takes people who have not shown intent and turns them into high qualified sales call, right? And this is a perfect example. Here's my good friend Michael Rossetti made a nice little post here on it looks like an email checklist, right? Klaviyo checklist, and he had a really great written post here, got 49 comments, right? But the big problem was there weren't a lot of conversations necessarily booked from it. And so I want to show you guys the scripts that we use to book these conversations. All right, let's hop in. All right. So understanding the psychology. Okay. So a couple things that we have to understand here. One, we got to confirm that they still want what they asked for and reminding them about the post. From there, we're going to set the frame. We're going to get permission to ask them questions that is framed in their own best interest while building the value of the training and giving them a clear light at the end of the tunnel. Then we're going to create some duality. We are going to ask questions that are going to elicit, one, their current situation, then their desired situation, and what's keeping them from getting there. This is easily the most important part. This is where we essentially build a gap that our solution can fill. And then from there, we go permission for feedback. We actually ask them permission to give them feedback. We're going to provide them a little bit of insight. This is optional, especially if you have like an SDR team. Providing insight is completely optional. If you have someone that is a little bit less knowledgeable, setting these calls up for you, we can go directly into book a discovery call and a consultation. Okay. So confirm, setting the frame, create duality, permission for feedback, provide insight, and then book a discovery call. Okay. And that is the framework. All right, guys, we'll see you later. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So pro tips, when we're asking these questions, we use brevity with any questions that we ask. If you guys are sales professionals, you should learn brevity in the questions that you ask. We're going to give insights on the what, not necessarily the how, like what needs to change, not how to change it, right? We're not going to diagnose and give them a prescription there in the DMs. And then we're also going to try to have the DM conversation all at once. So if you're going to start a conversation in the DMs, don't just send them a message and then get back to your work. Like if you're going to have time set aside to send DMs to people and have conversations, you want to try and push the conversation through all at once. Okay. Now, here's a script that we use. I think this is going to be super helpful for you guys. And if you stay to the end, I will give you this deck and you can steal the script. Okay. So the script, hey, saw that you commented something on my post, right? Whatever the CTA is, right? Maybe it's value. Maybe it's the CTA is, lead generation, whatever the topic's about. Okay. On my post about a certain topic, are you still interested in getting the training? Just getting an official head count before I make it. Now, if you already have the training, you could just do the first part, right? Of, hey, saw you commented CTA on this topic. Are you still interested in getting the training? Okay. We're just going to reconfirm that they want the thing that they said that they wanted. Okay. Now, from here, I like to send the training right at this point. Okay. Now you can hold it and try to get some more questions, but typically people get a little peeved if you wait to give the training. So typically I will send the training right at this first message. So just reconfirm that they still want it. They say, yep, still want that. Awesome. Here it is. And then from there, I move into, would you be offended if I asked you 2 to 3 questions real quick? Okay. So putting a negative frame on it. All right. Would you be offended? Right? No, I wouldn't be offended. Do I want to answer 2 or 3 questions? Probably not. But would I be offended? No, I wouldn't be offended. Okay. So just would like to get an idea of how I can make this training as valuable and helpful for you as possible. Let me know. Question mark. Okay. Now from here, would just like to get an idea of how to make these trainings as valuable as possible. So if you don't have the training yet and you're going to send it out, this would be the script. If you already have the training, then you would simply put this in like more of like a present tense of like, hey, I create these trainings all the time. I just want to make sure that they're super helpful and valuable. Let me know if I can, let me know if it's cool to ask a couple questions. Okay. Strong arm emoji. So from there, this is where we go through the actual script. And this is kind of like a mini discovery call. If you guys are familiar with discovery call structures, this will follow very similar discovery call. Okay. So awesome. Hey, for starters, what do you offer and do an offer for clients and your customers, and how is it priced? Okay. So you guys are going to have to fill in the blanks there specifically for the niche. Like if you're D2C ecom, hey, what type of Shopify store do you have? Or specifically, what type of products do you sell? Something along those lines. Okay. And then from there, they answer that question. Nice. And what's your revenue goal for this year? So we're starting with like kind of broad questions and kind of going into what we call more intimate questions. And you'll see that the questions get more intimate as we continue to ask them. Okay. So what's your revenue goal for this year? And they say it's $1 million. Okay. Cool. $1 million. Awesome. If you don't mind me asking, what's your revenue at now? Okay. So we have a future pacing question. Right now, we're going to get their current state. So we're talking about their current state here. What's your revenue now? Well, we're at, $500,000. Okay. So there is a difference of $500,000 that we have to think about here. And then from there, we can ask the question, and what do you think the biggest challenge is from getting from $500,000 to $1 million per year? Okay. And then from there, we can also tag in this line at the bottom. I've worked with a lot of e-com brands that are in a similar situation that you just mentioned. So I could probably shed some light and some insights if that's something that you're open-minded to. Okay. So essentially just asking for permission for feedback. Okay. They respond, yes, no. They say yes. All right. You'll want to adjust these questions specifically for your offer. But remember the psychology that we talked about a little bit earlier. Okay. It's also important that your questions start non-invasive and progress to more invasive as you go, right? So like if you were asking about a weight loss journey, you start by asking the goal first and what they're currently doing for exercise, not what their current weight struggles are, right? We don't go and just ask, hey, why are you struggling losing weight? Hey, that would be a pretty invasive question. So we want to start with more of the questions of like, hey, what's the goal first? We call this goal first syntax versus starting a challenge first syntax, okay? And then from there, also, you'll want to probe more if needed here, but don't drag this on too long. People will get impatient and they'll leave the conversation. We're trying to have this conversation in about 5 minutes. So if it's taking longer, messaging back and forth in 5 minutes, you have to, one, get a little bit more brief with your questioning and be able to move them through it faster, because typically people won't want to message you for more than 5 minutes. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving along here. Let's see. Got some messages. Hopefully everything's working okay. I think we're good. Let me just double check here. Okay. All right. Sweet. So the script, permission. Okay. So makes sense. Are you open to some feedback? So once we get to that point where we're ready to give some feedback, are you open to some feedback? Okay. From here, we have two options. If you are a setter or an SDR, chances are you can go in directly for a book a call. If you have some industry knowledge, then chances are you want to give some insight and then book a call. Okay. Because when we give insight, it is kind of nice to be able to establish some of that moral authority in the space. Okay. Now, book a call option. Here you immediately go for a quick 15-minute call. So say something along the lines of this. Look, hey, this training that I just sent over, it's going to be super helpful, but it's not going to be the magic bullet into hitting $1 million per year or whatever the revenue goal was. Okay. Do you have 5-10 minutes today to chat? We have clients in the exact space hitting those numbers or more. I'd be happy to show you some of the frameworks that we have them using. Send. Plus, I can send you whatever other trainings you need based off that combo too. And I promise not to pitch you anything. LOL. Okay. Now this works well, but they're not necessarily postured for a sales call. This is a, hey, I want to help you out. And this is where you have to be a little bit real. You truly do want to help them. Okay. And it's great if you're a setter and you're not sure how to provide insight on their situation. However, I do recommend giving insight because it can help you set that call a little bit easier. Okay. So if we're going to give them some insight, okay, this is how we do it. Here, we're just going to give a little bit of insight. Remember, this is a what the problem is, not how we're going to fix it. Okay. So what I found that works best is using something called a problem, reason why, and cost framework. Okay. So let's pretend that this specific prospect is struggling with lead flow, right? And you're an agency that provides lead generation for digital marketing agencies. So, hey, totally get that lead flow isn't good right now. And if you're trying to work on, Facebook ads. Okay, we'll send that. That's the problem. Okay, so lead flow isn't good, and we're trying to work on Facebook ads to solve that problem. And while that is definitely a problem, based on what you told me, and working with hundreds of clients, 50s of clients, tens of clients, however many clients you've worked with, you probably have an offer problem as well. Okay, so we give them a little reason why they're not getting the lead flow that they're wanting. Okay, but it's the what. This is what is wrong. This isn't necessarily the how of how to fix it. Okay. And then 75% of the success / failure of your lead gen will come down to your offer. Okay. And we'll send that. Okay. And that's the cost. Okay. So 75% of the success failure of your lead gen will actually come down to your offer. Okay, that's the cost. Cool. Once we do that, if you don't have that right, it's kind of like building your house on a foundation of sand. Makes sense, right? Because at the end of the day, you guys, if your offer is bad, chances are you're not going to sell a lot of it. Okay. Now, if you do this right, they'll start asking more questions. Well, how do I create a good offer? How do I get better leads? Then the leads naturally move into a call, and you can simply say, "I got some thoughts. Do you have time on X date or Y date? Right? You have time on Thursday or Friday this week?" And then it naturally progresses into a call booking. Okay. And then we lock in the call. If the prospect simply replies, makes sense, and it ends there, use the following copy. Great. Well, look, independent if you're interested in becoming a private client or not, I could definitely give you some insight on not getting enough leads, on having your conversion rate low on your e-com site, right? But whatever their challenges, okay, offer frameworks I've used with my agency clients and what they're doing to produce 50K plus months consistently. Do you have time to chat, right? On X or Y date. Okay. So that's specifically how we're utilizing this script. Okay. And that's how we lock in the call at the end. So hopefully that makes some sense. Okay. Now, after you offer a few dates, the prospect will typically respond, sure, Monday works, Tuesday works, whatever. Now you respond with two times. Great. Does 10 a.m. or 4 p.m. CST work for you? They will say 4 p.m. works. And you'll say, perfect. What's your email? Then they give you your email. Great. Now you guys have an email that you can email and continue to follow up with, even if they end up ghosting you, right? So we get their email and then we send them that link. Okay. And they say, thanks. What's your mobile? Okay. We try to get the mobile as well because, hey, if they don't show up to the call, guess what? I'm going to ring up. Hey, Susie, I know we had a call for today to talk about X, Y, and Z lead gen problem. Did you still have 15 minutes to chat today? Right. And I got you in the calendar talk then. I would not book appointments more than 4 days out. Typically, we want to do these ASAP. Okay. So don't book for like 2 weeks out. People forget about it. They'll ghost you. They won't show up to the meeting. And it'll be a waste of time. So typically no more than 4 days out. Try to book it as soon as possible. If you can get it in the same day, get it in the same day. And then actually send the thing, right? So if you're holding on to the resource to the end, I typically give it right at the beginning. So we'll send that first message we talked about. We'll send the resource, and then we'll continue the conversation from there. But if for some reason you're still creating the resource or the training, okay, that can also be valuable to like anchor people in to staying in the conversation. Now at this point, you have the content, assets available. I would send it to them, ask them to review it before the call, because when we send them the thing, we want to make sure that they actually go through it and actually utilize it. And that's the importance of you guys making lead magnets that are actually good versus very surface level. So make sure when you guys are creating lead magnets, they actually fix the problem that they're promising. Okay. And the whole point of this is to get them to do something. Okay. Give them some sort of homework. And then that way we could say like, hey, that way, if you have any questions specifically on this, you can ask me on the call. And then if you book them out for more than a few days, I would just shoot them a message a day or two after you sent that, or sent the asset, saying, hey, what did you think of the training? What did you think of the resource? Try to get them to consume it before hopping on with you, right? It's going to build trust. It's going to build more rapport. And you're going to come into that conversation with more trust built. Okay. So make sure that they actually utilize the thing that you send them. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to have a confirmation. You also want to follow up the day before. Hey, we still good for tomorrow? See if they respond. If they do, just on the day of, great, talk soon. Okay. If they, for some reason, don't respond, what to do if they ghost here. A decent percent of these conversations might ghost you in the middle of it. That's kind of like the nature of the beast. And if you're going to start doing messaging when you're sending out your lead magnets. But first, try not to elongate the conversation. I kind of already covered this. If you guys are having conversations that are spanning days, it's just really hard to book calls from that. Okay. So try to have the conversation quickly from when it first starts. If you stretch it across days, people do become irritated and they just, they stop responding. But the best way, if you do get someone to, if someone starts to ghost you, is hit them with some of the following. Hey, I just got this asset done. Do you still want it? Right. So this would be like if someone doesn't reply to the opt-in message. Yeah. Hey, just bumping this to the top of your inbox, smiley face, question mark. Hey, just want to make sure that you didn't lose this in the shuffle, following up on this status. And finally, hey, you alive? LOL. Hey, are you still trying to whatever it is that they wanted, right? Hey, still trying to generate more leads for your agency, send. Okay, just seeing if I should close the file on you, send. No worries either way, send. Okay, so there's some frameworks there. If people start ghosting you in the DMs, those have been extremely helpful for us on just reviving conversations. Okay, and you guys, that's it. That's simple. That's a simple script. Who wants it? Okay, I can send it over right now. I'll drop it in the chat for you guys. That way you get access to it. But hopefully that's helpful for you guys. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat here. Short training today, only 20 minutes. Let me make sure you guys have access to this here. Only 20 minutes on the training today. Made it super quick, digestible. Hopefully you guys are like on your lunch break or something and you learned a little something today. A little lunch and learn. All right, I dropped that. I think it just went out to YouTube. Let me just make sure that this also goes out to LinkedIn because I think that's where a majority of the viewers are. But if you guys have questions on that, feel free to drop them in the chat. Be more than happy to answer questions on your lead magnets or the conversations happening in the DMs to actually book the call. Let me know what you guys got, and I'm more than happy to take a couple minutes here. If not, we'll end a little bit early, and then people can watch the recording of this as well. Let me see here. All right, let me drop the script in LinkedIn here. Questions, comments, concerns, epiphanies, takeaways. What do you guys got? Or nothing. I just crushed it. I killed it. I killed it that much. It happens sometimes. Sometimes I just knock it out of the park. Felix, what's up, bro? Sudsy in the building. What's good? What did you say here, Felix? More than enough. Short and packed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know how we like to do it. You know how we like to do it. All right, crew. I won't sit around super long here and keep you guys hanging. Wait 30 more seconds, and then we will wrap it up. Rocking. Hey, if you guys are like these types of trainings, or if you watch the recording to this, drop me a DM. Tell me what you're struggling with. I'll make some more training specifically on it. Would love to hear from you guys if there's anything else that you want as far as resources, trainings. Talk about lead gen, sales, fulfillment, HR, finance. Also can tap into my network and do some lives with other people as well. But let me know. Would love to hear from you guys. Felix, quick question here. Nathan said he turned in late. Do you still use scripts to this day, or do you try to come up with something new? We use scripts all the time. Okay. Now, this is what I would consider a framework, not necessarily a script, because sometimes the conversations don't follow exactly like what we're talking about. So sometimes we have to adjust the script. So think of it less as a script and more of as a framework of like, this is what typically works. And then if we need to make adjustments and pivots, because every conversation happens slightly different. Okay, so you do want to adjust those a little bit depending on your niche and depending on the conversation. Like we don't say things word for word because chances are like it would either feel very robotic or it just wouldn't follow the flow of the conversation. So think on your feet here. Be willing to pivot. This isn't like we got to send this word for word. This is more of like, hey, here's the guidelines and use and adapt these principles to get yourself more book calls. All right, crew. I don't see too many more messages rolling in here, but if you do have more questions, you can shoot me a DM. You can find me on LinkedIn, Joshua Johnston, or you can shoot me a message on Twitter or Instagram at Joshi Kobayashi. We'll see you guys in the next one. We're doing more lives. We have more content coming out. Nathan is going to be ripping some content for us. He's in the chat right now. So you love to see it. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.